That's wig, isn't it?
It's really tight.
No.
Look at these beautiful hands.
I didn't want these pirates to be, hooks for hands, eye patches, and trick-or-treat belts and, striped shirts and all of that. Because, basically they were rotting human beings. There was very little time to live, and you had, scurvy, and the ships leaked, and there were rats everywhere, and there's a kind of really fun, disgusting quality and texture to that.
Arr! These pirates are cursed, and that was the little edge that it gave for me to say, this is something really special.
I think the presumption we've made is that they are from a floating 50-year environment. Theirs is a much more kind of organic look.
Penny just went for it. She rented a cement mixer, put all the clothes in there, loaded it with bricks, and just ran it.
I was allowed to bring over Steve Gell, who's a master distresser and dyer, and he worked on all the principals' clothes. And it's an art form. So they arrive brand spanking new, perfect, and a week in his hands, and they are what you see.
Hey, it's clean. It's not supposed to be clean.
This was a very complicated exercise in that I knew I had to have masses of backups. So I manufactured 900 pieces, and then they sent me in the bodies. You look absolutely lovely. Okay, next victim. It's a bit of a madhouse when we fit, and much swapping. Oh, I've got this jacket, it'll be better on him. And they just kind of came together. But the other thing that was really a big contribution is that I had makeup and hair in the fittings. So they got wigged up, they got made dirty. So by the time I was given them, they already looked pretty good. Off you go.
I remember the first day I came in for fittings and stuff, and I saw a picture of Johnny with all his bandana and his dreadlocks, and I'm like, oh Christ, I look like an ice cream. And these guys just look so cool.
We've had some really big days where we've had, between 30 and 40 hairdressers in, and 200 to 300 background working, mixtures of townsfolk and upper-class citizens, and it's an enormous circus.
It's just kind of like an assembly line. Whatever chair is open, you either go to makeup or you go to hair. We've had upwards of 50 makeup artists at times on the show.
Now this one will go, I almost have a dot to dot, see those dots right on the curve.
It's a certain technique that we're using to create the look on these pirates. I guess in layman's terms, it's kind of a layering of color and stippling. It's not like smudged on with a sponge, it's actually stippled on with a brush. So what it does is it really gets into the creases and the crevices, and it makes them look really grimy and really cruddy. A lot of it is like rubber mask greases and inks and all kinds of concoctions that we've come up with, and we found that pretty much dish soap takes off just about anything we put on.
It's really all about the teeth, ultimately.
The false teeth that are made are actually vacuum formed, so they're very comfortable for the actors to wear, and it doesn't inhibit their speech.
Prepare to board!
And it's just colored, so we never have to worry about touching up and making rotten teeth. We have several different contact lenses made from Mackenzie. One of them is soft that he'll wear all the time. The hard lens really bulges out his eyes, so he actually looks like his eye is protruding a little bit. But the idea is he has a wooden eye, and of course we have a lens technician with us all the time. Lee also wears contact lenses that are really, really yellow. He just looks so evil with these yellow eyes glazing.
And the opera's one of those next.
Jeffrey wears contact lenses as well. They're not quite as strong. It takes the brightness out of the eye, which gives him a real kind of sickly look. And Johnny actually has lenses that he wears too, but nobody would know it because I had contact lenses made for him that were actually sunglasses. And he wears those here when he's out shooting in the sun, so he's not squinting all the time.
I'm gonna teach you the meaning of pain.
Jacoby's kind of an interesting guy because his beard is always on fire. We built a big beard for him, and within that beard we added these dreads that have wire in them with little copper sockets at the end, and we insert these incense wedges, and we fire those incense wedges up, and then he smokes the whole time. And it's kind of a big ordeal because every take we have to replace the incense and relight them. He's been burned a couple of times, and when he's doing action stuff, when his beard flips around, he might, burn somebody, or it might start part of his beard on fire, or singe. You kind of always smell burning hair around this guy.
It's going to have all the thrills and chills that you would expect from a big adventure.
The stunt work on this was way more intense than anything I've done before. But I'd say the most difficult thing was just remembering all of the moves in terms of the sword fights.
So we circle. Sorry, once again.
They were more kind of precise, there was more involved for these specific beats.
That dogs we circle.
This was definitely very demanding for everyone.
1, 2, 3. Ah, that was wrong. I'm the sword master, and I started in 1952 with Errol Flynn on the Master of Ballantrae. That gives me 50 years of service in the film industry.
You name a sword fighting sequence that blew your mind in any huge movie, it was Bok.
In, out, in, out. Screen fighting is choreographed stuff which both combatants know about, and they make it as large as they can so that it is picked up by the audience.
Bob Anderson understood acting with a sword. He said, just because it gets faster doesn't mean to say it's better. He said, you know that as an actor, it's the beats in between.
You're taught to hold it. Then you're taught how to use it. Attacking, you use the front edge of the blade. When you parry, which is defense, you use the strong part of the blade, which is there. Once you know where to put your sword at the right time and place, that is the beginning of it. The routine now has to be rehearsed so it can be done with speed and agility and feeling and timing.
It's like muscle memory, you know, your muscles have memory in the same way that your brain does. So when you're learning a sword routine, you kind of go over the routine numerous times in order for it to sort of sink in.
It was interesting because I kind of learned the choreography to these things before I actually knew the character fully. So it was kind of interesting to incorporate the character into the moves.
When I had my meetings with Gore, he presented his concept, and I got excited listening to Gore explain his vision of the project because he has the energy of a little kid.
I loved Captain Blood, Crimson Pirate, you know, all of those movies. It's just that there's something about piracy.
Welcome aboard the Black Pearl.
I think what's fun about the first big sword fight between Orlando and Johnny is it's the kind of classic first set piece. And we're having a lot of fun with it, but there's no doubt that at any moment someone could lose an ear.
You all right?
Yeah. It's good as gold.
We go through an exhaustive rehearsal process with everybody, and it's pretty intimate. What I call my quiet time with the actors, where we talk things through and take sort of a low-key internal approach to it. It's one thing to learn the choreography of a stunt action or a sword fight or a fight or whatever it is, but then they have to start coloring it with their characters. And I try to let the actors do that from day one. That's how the collaborative effort starts rolling.
You like pain? Try wearing a corset. When I first read the script, I was like, oh, this is going to be easy. I'll sit in the back of carriages, I'll wear pretty dresses, I'll pout a bit, you know, it'll be fine. But actually, I've had a lot of stunt work to do, which, for somebody as lazy as me, has been rather challenging. I've been standing on this plank for 2 days, absolutely petrified. I mean, completely petrified. So when the time came to jump off, Gore, the director, said to me, you know, you don't have to do this. We can get Sonia, your stunt girl, to do it. I was like, I've been standing up here for 2 days. Do you really think that I'm not going to jump off this thing? I think I came up smiling, actually. It was fantastic. I was just so glad that I had hit the water and I was still alive and that the shark hadn't jumped out and eaten me. You know, it was great.
You have to really be true to the genre, and you have to deliver the great sword fight. The film has its big set pieces sort of spread out. There's an attack on the town, Jack's escape, there's a huge boat-to-boat battle sequence, and then there's kind of a sneak attack on the Dauntless in the climax of the